Hi, Joe Smiles here. Red Pill Uncensored Natty Pro. So what are the 8 main causes of cardiovascular disease? Well, I'm going to tell you. The leading cause of cardiovascular disease is atherosclerosis, which is the buildup of plaque within the arteries. So this plaque consists of fatty deposits like cholesterol, calcium and other substances that gradually narrow and harden the arteries, and this reduces the blood flow to the heart and other vital organs. Atherosclerosis is a complex condition and it's influenced by multiple factors. However, certain risk factors contribute to its development, and the World Health Organization, so WHO, estimates that 80% of premature heart disease and stroke cases are preventable. So heart disease, cardiovascular disease and stroke are considered non-communicable diseases. So non-communicable diseases is a medical condition or disease that aren't transmissible directly from one person to another. They're typically chronic diseases which progress slowly and have a long duration. Non-communicable diseases are influenced by lifestyle factors such as an unhealthy diet, physical inactivity, tobacco smoke, excess alcohol consumption. Also includes exposure to air pollution, occupational hazards and other environmental risks that increase your chances of developing non-communicable diseases. Genetics also play a significant role in the development of non-communicable diseases. So unlike communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases aren't caused by infectious agents such as bacteria, viruses, fungi or parasites. So common types of non-communicable diseases include cardiovascular disease, cancers, respiratory disease like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, so COPD, asthma, both type 1 and type 2 diabetes, chronic kidney disease and chronic kidney failure, Alzheimer's disease and osteoporosis. So the 8 main causes of cardiovascular disease are: number 1, high blood pressure, so hypertension. Prolonged high blood pressure damages the arterial walls and this increases the likelihood of atherosclerotic development. Continuous high blood pressure exerts excessive forces on the walls of the arteries. Over time, this pressure causes small tears in the arterial walls, making them more susceptible to damage. So the damage to the arterial walls creates sites where plaque can build up, and plaque is a mixture of, as I said before, fat, cholesterol, calcium, fibrin, which is a type of protein involved in blood clotting, inflammatory cells such as macrophages, and protein such as extracellular matrix. So as plaque accumulates, it causes atherosclerosis. Narrowed arteries restrict the blood flow to the vital organs, including the heart and the brain, and this increases the risk of heart attack or stroke. Number 2, an unhealthy blood cholesterol profile, such as elevated low-density lipoprotein cholesterol and low levels of high-density lipoprotein cholesterol. So high levels of LDL cholesterol, often referred to as bad cholesterol, can lead to the buildup of cholesterol in the arterial walls. LDL cholesterol particles penetrate the arterial lining of the walls and they accumulate within the walls, and this forms fatty deposits. And over time, these fatty deposits can become larger and more LDL cholesterol accumulates. So this results in the formation of plaque. The body responds to the buildup of plaque as if it were an injury. So white blood cells from the immune system rush to the area, attempting to digest the LDL cholesterol. So this can cause an inflammatory response, which further contributes to the plaque growth and arterial wall damage. So as plaque continues to build up, it causes the arteries to harden and narrow, and this restricts the blood flow and reduces oxygen supply to vital organs like the brain and the heart. So HDL cholesterol, often called the good cholesterol, helps to remove the LDL cholesterol from the arteries, and it transports it to the liver for excretion, where it comes out in your stools. So therefore, low levels of HDL cholesterol means that there's less removal of LDL cholesterol, which then contributes to the plaque buildup. Okay, number 3, tobacco use, smoking, or exposure to secondhand smoke. The chemicals in tobacco smoke specifically damage the endothelium and the endothelial cells, which are the cells that line the blood vessels of your arteries. Damaged endothelial cells can make the arteries more susceptible to the buildup of plaque, and it can lead to inflammation. Carbon monoxide in tobacco smoke binds to your hemoglobin in your red blood cells more efficiently than oxygen does. This reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. So this then results in less oxygen being delivered to vital organs and tissues, including your heart. Nicotine is a stimulant that's found in tobacco. It raises blood pressure and causing blood vessels to constrict and the heart to beat faster. So this puts additional strain on the heart and the blood vessels. Smoking accelerates the process of atherosclerosis by promoting the buildup of fatty deposits, so i.e. plaque, within the arterial walls. The damaged endothelium, which is the lining inside the walls, attracts the LDL cholesterol, so the bad cholesterol, which can accumulate and form the plaque. So the chemicals in smoke and tobacco trigger the inflammatory response. Inflammation plays a key role in the development and progression of atherosclerosis, leading to further damage and plaque formation. Smoking also increases the tendency for blood to clot. So blood clots block the arteries, leading to heart attacks and strokes. Okay, number 4, an unhealthy diet. So diets high in saturated and trans fats raise LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. This is because saturated fats can reduce the activity of LDL receptors in the liver, leading to higher levels of circulating LDL cholesterol. And elevated LDL cholesterol levels contribute to the buildup of arterial plaque, particularly trans fats, which can cause inflammation and damage to the endothelium, which facilitates the plaque formation. Excessive dietary cholesterol can lead to increased cholesterol levels in the blood, although not in everyone, which can deposit in the arterial walls and form the plaque, and this process narrows and hardens the arteries. Consuming too much sodium can lead to hypertension, so high blood pressure, which leads to major risk factor for atherosclerosis. So high blood pressure damages the arterial walls and it makes them more prone to a plaque buildup. So in addition, diets high in sugars can lead to insulin resistance and eventually type 2 diabetes. However, there's a caveat here. It's only if you're overweight or obese or have a genetic disposition to type 2 diabetes. Otherwise, sugar is fine, glucose is fine. So diabetes is a significant risk factor for atherosclerosis. This is because if glucose isn't cleared from the blood due to type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance, excessive glucose damages the blood vessels and it accelerates the plaque formation. There are a number of pathophysiological reasons why excessive glucose in the blood damages blood vessels and causes the plaque formation. So high glucose levels leads to the formation of what's called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. AGEs can damage the endothelial cells lining your blood vessels, and this impairs blood vessel function. So elevated glucose levels in your blood increases the production of ROS, which is reactive oxygen species. ROS leads to oxidative stress and causes even more damage to the endothelial cells. So high glucose levels promotes chronic inflammation, and inflammatory cytokines and immune cells infiltrate the vessel walls, and this contributes to the formation of atherosclerotic plaques. So excessive glucose can cause LDL cholesterol to become oxidized, and when LDL cholesterol becomes oxidized, it's more likely to be taken up by macrophages, forming foam cells. All this contributes to plaque buildup. So diabetes can create a procoagulant state, which means that there's an increase in the risk of blood clots on the formation of the atherosclerotic plaques. So excessive glucose in the blood increases the production of thromboxane A2, which is a compound that promotes platelet aggravation and vasoconstriction. And platelet aggregation is a process where platelets clump together and form blood clots. So excessive glucose in the blood binds to the hemoglobin in red blood cells, forming glycated hemoglobin. This is also called HbA1c. There's a test for this. So this is a marker to measure the long-term blood glucose levels. So excessive glucose also leads to the form of AGEs, by attaching various proteins throughout the body. So AGEs can contribute to vascular damage and inflammation, which then indirectly can lead to a procoagulant state. So high glucose levels can also stimulate the proliferation and migration of the smooth muscle cells into the intima, which is the inner lining of the blood vessel, and this thickens the arterial wall and contributes to more plaque development. So fruits and vegetables are rich in antioxidants, which helps to protect arteries from damage, and a diet low in these foods can lead to an increased oxidative stress and inflammation, further promoting atherosclerosis. And whole grains provide dietary fiber, which helps to lower low density lipoprotein cholesterol. And a diet low in fiber can contribute to higher cholesterol levels and plaque buildup. Healthy fats found in nuts, seeds and fish, so unsaturated fats, these help HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol levels, to help reduce inflammation in the body. And a lack of these fats can lead to an unhealthy lipid profile and further increase the risk of atherosclerosis. Number 5, physical inactivity. So physical inactivity helps maintain healthy blood pressure by promoting elasticity of the blood vessels, and it promotes better blood flow. So exercise also improves lipid profiles, increasing HDL cholesterol levels and decreasing LDL cholesterol levels. Without regular physical activity, LDL cholesterols can rise and again contribute to plaque buildup in the arteries. Physical inactivity is a major contributor to obesity, which is a significant risk factor for cardiovascular disease, and excessive body fat percentage levels, especially around the abdomen, associated with higher LDL cholesterol levels and lower HDL cholesterol levels, and an increase in blood pressure. All of that contributes to atherosclerosis. So regular exercise strengthens the heart muscle, improves its efficiency and enhances overall cardiovascular function. A sedentary lifestyle, however, can lead to a weaker heart and reduced cardiovascular health, which we all know about, and this increases the risk of heart disease. Physical activity also reduces insulin resistance and improves insulin sensitivity, therefore helps to regulate blood sugar levels. So you can have glucose and sugar and it's fine. So lack of exercise can contribute to insulin resistance, which is the opposite, and type 2 diabetes, both of which are risk factors for cardiovascular disease due to the damaging effects it has on the blood vessels. So exercise has an anti-inflammatory effect and improves endothelial function in terms of improving health of the inner lining of the blood vessels, whereas physical inactivity can lead to an increased inflammation and impaired endothelial function, and that promotes the development of atherosclerosis. Number 6, obesity and overweight. So excess body fat increases blood volume, which puts extra pressure on artery walls, leading to hypertension. So high blood pressure, as I've explained, damages the arterial lining, making it more susceptible to a buildup of atherosclerosis and plaque. So obesity can also increase vascular resistance, which is the force against which the heart pumps, and further contributes to high blood pressure. Obesity is strongly associated with insulin resistance, where the body's cells become less responsive to insulin. This can lead to type 2 diabetes, which is a major risk factor for cardiovascular disease. And obesity often leads to higher levels of LDL cholesterol, which contribute to plaque buildup and obesity also causes a decrease in HDL cholesterol, which helps to remove the LDL cholesterol from the bloodstream, as I explained earlier, and that reduces the plaque formation. Obesity also leads to elevated triglyceride levels, which is another risk factor for atherosclerosis. And all these changes in your cholesterol and fat markers are called dyslipidemia, which is a dysregulation or an abnormal lipid profile. Also, excess body fat, especially visceral fat around the abdomen, the abdominal organs, they release pro-inflammatory markers like cytokines, and chronic inflammation damages the endothelium cells, and that promotes plaque formation and atherosclerosis. Obesity can impair the endothelium's ability to regulate blood vessel dilation, which leads to endothelial dysfunction. And this condition makes the blood vessels less flexible and more prone to damage and plaque buildup. So obesity is also associated with a prothrombotic state where the blood is more likely to clot. And blood clots can block arteries, leading to heart attacks and strokes. Obstructive sleep apnea is a sleep disorder whereby you have repeated episodes of complete or partial obstruction of your upper airway during sleeping. And this obstruction leads to pauses in breathing, reduced oxygen levels, and disrupted sleep. And common symptoms include loud snoring, gasping for air, or choking during your sleep. Obesity increases the risk of obstructive sleep apnea. It can lead to hypertension and heart strain, further increasing your chances of cardiovascular disease. Number 7, diabetes mellitus. So, elevated blood glucose levels can damage the endothelial cells lining your blood vessels, as I've explained. So this damage makes blood vessels more prone to atherosclerosis. So high blood sugar levels also increase oxidative stress, which further damages the blood vessels and promotes inflammation. See how it's all interconnected? So just like excessive fat cells in overweight and obese people, you have the similar low-grade chronic inflammation with diabetes, and it contributes to the development and progression of atherosclerosis. So pro-inflammatory markers like cytokines released in that type of state can worsen blood vessel damage. So diabetes often leads to dyslipidemia, which is high levels of triglycerides, low levels of HDL cholesterol, and elevated levels of LDL cholesterol. So that type of lipid profile promotes plaque formation in your arteries. Insulin resistance is common in type 2 diabetes, and insulin resistance impairs the normal functioning of blood vessels. This impairment leads to endothelial dysfunction, yet again, increasing the risk of hypertension and atherosclerotic plaques building up in the arterial walls. So people with diabetes are more likely to develop hypertension. Also, diabetes increases the likelihood of a blood clot formation, which is called the prothrombotic state, and that raises the risk of heart attacks and strokes, potentially by blocking arteries. So diabetes is often associated with obesity, which itself is a significant risk for cardiovascular disease. Excess body fat exacerbates the metabolic disturbances seen in diabetes, and it increases the risk of cardiovascular complications. And diabetes can lead to peripheral artery disease, or PAD, where the blood flow to limbs is reduced due to narrowed arteries. And PAD is a marker of widespread atherosclerosis and increased cardiovascular disease. That's why people with diabetes often have to have their feet amputated. Okay, number 8, excessive alcohol consumption. Last one. Chronic high blood pressure caused by alcohol damages the arteries, promoting atherosclerosis. So alcohol is calorie dense. It's second after fat, and excessive consumption can lead to fat gain. So obesity is a significant risk factor for cardiovascular disease, as it's associated with hypertension, diabetes and dyslipidemia. An excessive alcohol intake can alter your lipid metabolism, leading to higher levels of triglycerides and increased LDL cholesterol, both of which contribute to atherosclerosis. So alcohol can cause heart damage mainly because it's basically poison, and chronic heavy drinking can lead to something called alcoholic cardiomyopathy, which is a condition where the heart disease weakens and is less able to pump blood effectively around your body. So this increases the risk of heart failure and other cardiovascular complications. Excessive alcohol can also cause arrhythmias such as atrial fibrillation of your heart, and these irregularities in your heartbeat increase the risk of stroke and other health-related issues. So alcohol can increase oxidative stress in the body and inflammation in the body, which then damages the endothelial cells, which again is the lining of your blood vessels, and this promotes the plaque buildup and the atherosclerosis. So alcohol can also affect platelet function, and it increases the risk of blood clots and leads to heart attacks and strokes. So chronic excessive alcohol use leads to liver disease, which has an indirect effect on cardiovascular health by altering lipid metabolism and increasing the risk of systemic inflammation. So those are my 8 main causes of cardiovascular disease, all originating from atherosclerosis. If you found that interesting, like the video, maybe subscribe if you'd like this kind of content, and put as many comments as you want in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video, and have a good day.